I want us to look at, let's look at how we can begin to develop a personal growth strategy for ourselves first and then on the job. And if you look at this slide, obviously, there is no personal growth that is not watered, which means you require some effort to nurture your personal growth. Go to the next slide. Or, if you don't grow, what will happen? If you don't do that, you'll be sold color bars. Let me share another story with you. I had a younger brother who was one of the pioneers of Nollywood. He was a cinematographer. And how many of you are familiar with what you're saying? You've seen it before. Now, in professional video cameras, this thing is built in. You just a flick and it will show. In those early days, the marketers in Idumota were the ones financing films. And they didn't know much about films at the time. And so, what my brother then would do, his name is Mohammed, is he will walk and after a while he'll say, ah! And they say, Mohammed, wait here, we say, color bar don't finish. You must say, ah, so what are we going to do now? So, well, we can't continue working, we have to buy color bar. Say, how much is it? He said 10,000. Okay. He will give him money, say, give it to my boy, he will go and buy. Of course, the boy already knows what he has in mind. The guy will take a tape, walk away, go and relax, and then come back later. And then he say, when he calls, you call him and say, Oga, we're ready now, let's go. He has brought it. He will put it inside, he flick that, he say, come and see, come and see. It was obviously there before, but he sold him a dummy. And don't look at me funny. You are buying color bars from your mechanics every day. You are buying color bars from your plumbers and electricians every day. You pay dearly for your ignorance. You understand? If you don't develop yourself, you'll be sold what? Color bars. Opportunity and preparation leading to what? Success, or what people call luck. But we're going to look at it differently today. There is no luck, there is no accident. How many of you know the Malian Spider-Man? The story that happened in Paris, the young man that saved the child that was about 5 stories high. Some people look at it and say he was lucky. Okay, yes, he happened to have been at the right place at the right time. But did you know that the tree climbing he did when he was back in his village in Mali, at the appropriate time, at the appropriate moment, while others were busy, there was even somebody upstairs, right above, who was above that child but couldn't save the child. This young man, all the while he was climbing tree with his bare hand in his village in Mali, he did not know that one day it will serve him. And so when he saw that thing, when nobody else could do anything, he climbed up those 4 or 5 stories in about 30 seconds, saved that child, and by that evening, his president from Mali had phoned in. He had received a call, I think he was received an audience by Macron, and whether you like it or not, his generations on board will become French citizens because he was offered French citizenship alongside a job with the fire service. Nothing is an accident. There is no luck. Some things you think are not important in your background will serve you in your future. Okay? Everything you call luck is a function of preparation meeting with opportunity. And so if you're not prepared when opportunity comes, you will miss it. Let me share another interesting story with you. Oyinlola, when he was governor of Lagos State, his elder brother, a medical doctor, I don't know if some of you know, he was appointed a commissioner in Osun State. And then people protested. At the time, I said, no, is it because his brother is governor in Lagos State and all that? And then the man said, what the hell are you people talking about? I'm a medical doctor, yes. I also schooled in Russia. But what's more important, I also have a certificate in Russian language. You may laugh, but you know something? In the academia, and even in the work that you do, after a while, the degrees don't matter anymore. It is those little certificates that make a difference. They are the coloring. Those certificates are the icing on the cake. If you have 2 officers here, one has a master's, fine, great. And then, and both of you read marketing, I want to use that as an example, as a base. And then the other person went to do a diploma or a certificate in digital marketing, who do you think you will give a job these days? Digital marketing, is that not so? Is that not a lower qualification? But it is a relevant qualification. And then when you hear somebody says he has a certificate in thermonuclear, whatever, you think, oh, it's a certificate too. But it sounds exotic. Do you understand what I'm saying? It sounds exotic. Some of you just rely on what you came in with, and you don't bother at all about preparing yourself for opportunities. Go to the next slide. I want to share another formula, another this with you. If you want to know anybody well, including your guard, including your houseboy, never judge a person until you know what they do with their downtime and their nighttime and what they expose their minds to. What did I say? Their downtime, nighttime, and what they expose their minds to. When some of you are watching the Premiership, some people are using it to learn French at St. Agnes. You know there's a French language center there. How many of you are bothered to go and study French there? It's from Lagos State. There's Chinese at Unilag. You don't think it's important. You are watching Premiership. There's so much time that we waste. We just sit down, we're watching television. That time you think is an idle time. Some people are investing that time. The houseboy in your house, don't judge him until you know what he's doing with his downtime. Until you know what he's doing at night. I recall several years ago, I was in a discussion with one of my students then who used to work for Ben Bruce. And he said to me, he said, it's Oga, in those days, a long time ago. He said, when the rest of them are sleeping at night, the guy is at the Okhai club. That's where he will lock up all the deals with the sponsors for his Bonvita show and all the other. You know, he had a lot of programs on television. He will lock the deals. In the morning when they wake up, they go to work, he will just tell them, you go and see this, you go and see this, you go and see that. While they were busy sleeping at night, he was busy locking down deals. What do you do with your night time? And we talk about mind exposure. Are you a reader? What do you expose your mind to? It's very, very important. To know a person 360 degrees, you need to know this. Of course, there are those who may argue and say, what about your environment? The truth is, if you're prepared, your environment cannot limit you. How do I know? People have left Ajegunle to go and play football for Man United. They had their preparations. It doesn't matter. You cannot allow your environment to limit you. Whatever it is you do and you do well, there's no stopping you. Nothing can stop you. Okay? So how do you use your downtime, your nighttime, and what do you expose your mind to? Like I said, your environment and circumstances should not be a hindrance. At this point, so that you do not think that we are just talking, like I said, I'm not coming to give you a dose of, a shot of cocaine. It's like, okay, he has come, all he's doing is just, we have heard all this before. I want to empower you with things that you will be grateful for the rest of your life. Some of you may already know. If you have your phones there, please open. Okay, before you go into that, how many of you have heard about massive open online course, MOOC? How many of you are aware here? Raise your hand. One. Put your hand up now. Okay, stand up so that I know. Stand up. So that I know for sure those who. One. You are the only one. Massive open online courses. MOOC, as they're called. Thank you very much. Watch out for that guy. I don't know him much. But if he has started taking advantage of what I'm about to share with you now, he may not last too long with the civil service. He might as well abandon you and move on to bigger things. You know what I'm talking about, young man? All of you, fortunately, will. If you can, look up EDX. It is possible to have a certificate from Harvard. It is possible to have a certificate from Cambridge. It's possible to have a certificate, free of charge, by the way, in any area. And is acceptable for employment globally. Now you can begin to spice up your certificates. Look up EDX, Google it. Look up Coursera, look up Audacity. There are courses you cannot ordinarily afford online, free of charge. You can thank Oga Top and Madam Bolanle later for making this possible. Did you hear what I said? Please take note of what I'm saying. You can begin to build your career here. Whether it is in digital marketing, you want to learn a language, you want to learn about journalism, you want to learn about PR from some of the best universities in the world. In 1 month or 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you can actually have a certificate that you can present to management. And of course, there are free training videos available on YouTube. Many of us just Facebook from morning till night. You are making influencers rich at your own expense. On YouTube, there's practically no topic on earth that you cannot study from. You want to learn how to do fashion, whatever it is, YouTube is at your disposal. Please use your downtime wisely. Use your night time wisely. Expose your minds properly.